Welcome back to another tutorial inside of Adobe Animate. This time I'll be showing you guys how to rig an arm inside of Adobe Animate. We'll also be showing you a nice little trick where you can go and select different hand shapes for your arm. So whether you want someone to point, whether you want someone to hold a peace sign, a zap sign, you name it. Okay, so to kick things off, first import your Illustrator file. I've already prepared my arm with the necessary joints. If you guys want a tutorial on Illustrator, just go ahead and write down in the comments if you need a tutorial on how to prepare your rig. I've also prepared my hands. Later on you'll also see how I've prepared the different hand shapes inside of Illustrator. It is a little bit tedious to create, but you'll need those different hand shapes in order to create the different hand shapes for your arm. So once your character has been imported, you now need to create a new symbol or controller layer that will help us add in the joint rotation. This controller will basically assist us in creating the constraints for the controller. After doing that, you'll need to symbolize each of your layers. So go ahead and select each of the layers and hit F8 to help you symbolize the layers. Rename those symbols to the same name as the layer. After you have renamed your layers as well as convert them into symbols, you will then need to select your bone tool. Once you have selected your bone tool, you can then add in the bones by clicking and dragging from the shoulder to the elbow and then to the wrist. And then after that, you can then click and drag right over to the controller. Once you're done adding in the bones, check your rig. Check to see if you can see any errors in the bones. For example, if there's any gaps between the elbow or maybe some gaps in between the hands, and obviously that is undesirable. So you might want to go back and just fix up those errors. So I'll show you how to go ahead and fix those errors. Essentially, you need to select your freeform transform tool. Q is the shortcut. Then select the relevant body part. For example, the forearm right here, I have to select that and move the pivot point to where the joint should rotate. In my case, I've already prepared my character inside of Adobe Illustrator before importing it in. So it is very easy for me to go ahead and select where the joint should rotate because I know exactly where it should be. Once that is done, we can then move over to rigging the hand. Before rigging the hand, we do need to add in some constraints to our bones. So for example, we need to add a constraint in the elbow section as well as the hand section. Your hand can only rotate so much. Same thing when it comes to your elbow, you can only rotate it so much. Once you're done with adding the constraints to your bone, we can now move over to adding in our different hand shapes. Double click into the hand layer that you have already. Once you've done that, you are now ready to import the hand shapes. Like I said earlier, the hand Illustrator file has been prepared in advance. So for example, in the wrist section, all of the different hand shapes, there's a specific way that you need to set up the wrist area. Delete the hand shape that was there originally. Then what you'll need to do is exit outside of your hand shape and then resize the hand shape so that it fits where it originally should have been. Don't forget to also move the pivot point to the area where the hand should go. Obviously, depending on which side this hand is supposed to be, go ahead and flip the rotation like how I did in this example. That way, it will be facing in the right direction for that particular hand. Your hand rotates near the wrist, so there's a certain type of way that you have to design that particular area of the joint by adding in a circle and making sure that for each hand the circle is the relative size. If you really need some assistance there, again, just let me know in the comments and I'll quickly make a video on that. Now the fun part is for us to test out the different hand shapes. In order for you to test out the different hand shapes, you'll need to go and select the properties panel. And inside of the properties panel, you will have to look for the frame picker. The frame picker is what's going to help you to choose the particular hand shape that you need for your given scenario. So whether you need a peace sign, a high five, the hand grabbing something, a thumbs up, you can then select it from this frame picker. Animating this is very simple now. You can just go ahead and add in more frames and then just go ahead and select the relevant hand shape that you want. Thank you so much for joining us for this tutorial. If you guys have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask me any questions down below in the comments. Have a good one. Cheers.